Okay, Smokey, I gotta tell you, I'm still uncomfortable with giving you this stuff. Anyway, all right, whatever. Okay, so I'm going to show you something here. It's painful because they lied to me to get me to go down to the station. I get down there and they basically try to ambush me with these questions, the interrogation. They didn't say they were going to interrogate me.
I think Bob's got a strategy to maybe help you get these assholes off your back.
Great.
Let's see it.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. And then they set up a, at the same time, to go ambush my wife at the house. She wasn't read her rights, by the way. So then they asked me to take a polygraph. Now you got to know something. From that morning of when the flying saucer event happened to the time I'm down here at the station, it was 52 hours with no sleep. I've got press hanging outside my window. They're beating down my door. Phone's ringing off the hook. I can't sleep. I mean, I was completely out of my mind. So then I tested my blood sugar level at the station, and it was 473. When you have high blood sugar, you're extremely tired, even somewhat lethargic. On top of the fact that I didn't have the sleep, I'm out of my mind. They asked me to go take a polygraph. So I wanted to get the hell out of the station. So I said, fine, eventually. I didn't know what to do, quite frankly, so I tried to call some attorneys. It was Saturday. I'm sure they set that up, so I couldn't call any attorneys. So I go into their polygraph room, and I'm trying to take their friggin' polygraph. Now, in most states, I'm going to read you this. In most states, police may not use overbearing measures to coerce an involuntary confession. Examples of improper or illegal interrogation tactics may include continuing to question you even after you ask for a lawyer, depriving you of food, water, or sleep, beating you or threatening harm or greater punishment, and or making false promises of leniency in exchange for a confession. Anyway, check out the clip. Okay, you see this little dot right here?
Yeah.
See that dot? There's light out there, a lot of light. Okay?
Yeah.
How are we going to sleep? I'm crawling on my knees just to get around my house. See that light out the window?
Yep.
Okay, come on. Look at this. Come here. Videotape the lights. See that? See that? It's dark out. I told them no more interviews. I said no more interviews.
That's not good.
What is it?
473.
Okay, what does that mean? You need a snack or something?
I'm supposed to be at 100.
Okay, so how do you get it down? Do I
gotta take
you
a
got
shot.
soda
I'll
or
just
you take a shot?
Yeah, more
Okay.
fun.
Here, I want to read you some things I pulled off the internet. Symptoms of high blood sugar include a rapid heart rate, drowsiness and difficulty waking up, increased weakness, and sometimes loss of consciousness. You be the judge. You look at this. All right, so here's the polygraph examiner, Kevin Mall, doing the interrogation.
When we get through the questions, we'll take a break and walk around a little bit, kind of wake up a little bit and use the restroom.
Yeah.
And other things, because I can see you're struggling a little bit, but we'll take a break and then we're going to review the questions again.
Okay, I gotta get some circulation, okay? I am just not here. Okay.
Okay, Richard, you are going to have to focus and concentrate and stay awake. Okay, and it most certainly will help if forcing keeping your eyes open.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and try one more time. Richard, you're just not able to stay alert enough.
Yeah, I answered them.
So, but I can see you dropping off and nodding off a little bit. So really focus on keeping your eyes open,
Okay.
listening to my voice, and we'll go ahead and run with it that way. So I just go ahead and detach you for a little bit. Again, I'm going to let you walk around a little bit, get blood flowing around, and then we'll attach you up and do a couple more charts, because I'm definitely going to need at least 2 more charts.
So Kevin Mall wrote in his affidavit dated 10/26/2009. Mr. Heene did not make any admissions. However, he began to reiterate that he again had symptoms of problems with his blood sugar level, and his sleepiness returned. This, however, was an obvious attempt to derail the investigation process and was not a legitimate medical concern. I mean, think about the audacity of this guy saying it was of no medical concern. When you have high blood sugar, the blood circulating through your body, it gets thick like syrup. It makes you tired. It's legitimate. I hadn't slept for 52 hours when I first got there. Hours are rolling by. I mean, I can't even stay awake. To derail it, I was out of my mind. Plus all the stress. You got the press out in front of the house. Try to imagine that. They're making noise. I mean, they got machines, and they got people banging on my door night and day, lights shining in my windows. I'm trying to derail the investigation? I mean, that, to me, that's police brutality. They will stop at nothing to prosecute somebody. It's like a conveyor belt of convictions. And they all get promoted based on that. Okay, Smokey, I want to read you something. Look, this is from Kilmer, Lane, Newman, LLP, okay? My attorney put this out there. All right, it says here, upon reviewing the evidence, arguably, Mayumi could have possibly ended up being deported, and Richard could have proceeded to trial and had a good chance at an acquittal. This, however, would have put the family at grave risk of seeing a loving, caring, compassionate wife and mother ripped from the family and deported. This was not an acceptable risk. Thus, these pleas. So what had happened was our attorneys were talking to the prosecutor's attorneys. I never heard a word of what was going on, but our attorneys told us that this was a huge deal. Okay, so to prove my point about these guys lying, he did, Jim Alderden, confess to the world that he did lie about having me come into the station. He confessed to that. But he confessed to that lie, but continued to lie and continued to make this media frenzy happen. Check it out.
Sheriff Alderden held several news conferences as the Balloon Boy case unfolded back in October, but not everything he said to the media was totally accurate, and then he knew it. We've got 2 clips. The first, October 16th, the day after the incident. The second, the 18th, the day the sheriff declared it had all been a hoax. Watch.
We were convinced yesterday, after talking to the parents and having investigators on scene during the duration of this event, that the parents were being honest with us. It's not a criminal offense to perhaps lie to them to get them in here or establish a relationship to get them in here. I personally have to say I feel very bad, and I think we came up and bumped against the line of misleading the media, and boy, that is something I really take to heart that we don't do.
So again, the reason why I had to take that plea deal was because I didn't want to be dragged through the mud. I didn't want to try and defend myself from jail. Case in point, right here. You got that? So Tim Masters goes to jail for goes to prison for 10 years because of these cops that lied. The prosecution lied. They fabricated evidence against them. And I'm looking at this case going like, oh my God, this is the same thing they're doing to me. What else am I going to do? Well, I thought about my family first. So, right here, city picks up legal bills, at least for now, of cop facing 48 years in prison over Masters case. Fort Collins Police Lieutenant Jim Broderick could spend up to 48 years behind bars on felony and perjury charges related to the high-profile murder conviction that was ultimately overturned, dragging the city's reputation through the mud. Now, I'm going to interrupt right here, and that is this. It says high profile. It was only profiled in Colorado. That was it. The rest of the country doesn't even know about this. The entire planet Earth seem to tune in on this case that we were involved in. So, okay. This Lieutenant Broderick, just from this conviction, was promoted. So too was the judge, or excuse me, the prosecutor went and got promoted to a judge. So I can see the motivation. I can see the motivation why somebody, a cop, a prosecutor, would lie so that they can get promoted, so they can make more money. That's why they would fabricate all this information. Anyway, this month, December 2010, this guy is being tried. Yet the city of Fort Collins not only is continuing to pay the cops $100,000 plus salary, but also is footing the bill to defend him in court, unless he's convicted, that is. Meanwhile, city taxpayers can add Broderick's legal bills to the ever-mounting cost of the bungled investigation into the 1987 murder of Peggy Hetrick. Broderick has been indicted by a Weld County grand jury of lying under oath on 8 separate occasions to secure a conviction against Tim Masters. Masters, who was a gangly 15-year-old at the time of the murder, was convicted of first-degree murder in 1999 and sentenced to life in prison based entirely on circumstantial evidence, much of which Broderick is accused of lying about in arrest warrant affidavits during preliminary hearings and on the stand during Masters' trial. Now I'm going to read this again. Much of which Broderick is accused of lying about in an arrest warrant affidavits. Now, Smokey, seriously, this guy, it says right here, okay, based entirely on circumstantial evidence, much of which Broderick is accused of lying about in arrest warrant affidavits during preliminary hearings and on the stand during Masters' trial. You know, this guy lied in warrant affidavits. Come on, Smokes. Come on, Smokey. Look at the video. Look at what they wrote. They lied. They lied. They lied. They lied. Nothing's going to happen to these guys. I'm done with it. I want to move on. You got to see the gravity of this. So I want you to let this go, Smokes. Just leave it alone, because these guys will say anything and they will do anything to get arrests, convictions.